Hello and welcome to a tutorial on logical operators. It's a very brief tutorial, but I will keep it like that at the moment. I'll use an example of an if statement again because that's all I've got at the moment. What is a logical operator? Let's add a bit of logic and say it's the AND or the OR operator. Now, if I start creating my basic layout for my if statement, I will get to work on showing you what you can do with these. Before we had example such as 1 is greater than 1, which at the moment is going to return false. Let's just check it to see where we are. Right. So that's false. Now, what if I said if 1 is greater than 1 or equals 1? Now, we don't write it as OR, we write it as two horizontal lines or two pipes. Not quite sure about that, but if you know my keyboard, it would be next to the shift key, two horizontal lines, that means OR. So, if we compile this, what do you think the result is gonna be? Now, let's run through this once. If 1 is greater than 1, false, and so we have written false or 1 is equal to 1. We know that 1 equals to 1 is true, so here we are saying OR 1 is equal to 1, not AND, because we said AND. Then both would have to be true, or either of these could be true to make this the output. So hopefully we get true. Okay, so that's the OR. Basically, it allows you to take two comparisons, show them in your if statement, and if either of them are true, then it's like an either operator. Either of them are true, you will be left with true. And operator is a different manner and requires both of these to be true for this to be executed. So, we have got false here, but 1 is not greater than 1. We go back to our comparison operators and we will say if 1 is greater than 1 or equal to 1 and 1 equal 1, here we will get true. So now all I can really think is about to add a few variables into this test. But I am pretty sure that you have got the hang of variables by now, by following my other tutorials. So these are two logical operators. You will find them very useful because you might want to say, for example, this is a very classic example. You will find it in one of my projects. It is a login form. Say a user wants to log in into a website. You have probably logged into a website before and it said to enter your username and password. Now the keywords are in here. We need to check if the user have entered the username and the password. If they haven't, there is no point in comparing the username to the password. So we can say, for example, if the username, in fact, let's do this. I'll say username is equal to Alex and my password is equal to ABC. Now I will substitute these. I can say username and password. At the moment, this will say true. I'll change this. I'll say OK, or you forgot to fill out a field, because there will eventually be HTML fields. This is going to be OK because we have got both values. So let's try. Yes, that's saying OK. Now what happens if I forget to type my password in there? There is nothing in there at the moment, no space. Let's get rid of that. You forgot to fill out a field. So if you imagine these are coming from the user, so it has been submitted as you typed your username and password in. we are saying username and password. Basically, username itself is true because it exists. If you had that inside, that would be acceptable. That would be true. We'll just check that. There you go. So because we have got username and password, then that's fine. But for the OR, that doesn't really make sense. And you can imagine what will happen. So right now, this will equal true because we have got both values. So this is okay. Now, if I go with both of them and try it out, if the username exists, so the username is true. At the moment there is no value, so it is false. Or the password is true, that is the value exists. At the moment it doesn't, so it is false. So we are going to say you forgot to fill out a field. I'll just write here nothing because at the moment it means nothing. So refresh, I'll make it nothing. So you see, already I have explained how useful these can be in so many everyday PHP applications. For example, a form someone can fill in, you will find many other uses for it, but that's it then. Two operators that are logical operators. Just try them out and see what all you can do with them. I will be using these most definitely in one of my projects quite soon. Thanks for watching. This is Siddharth dubbing for the Spoken Tutorial project.